Hi, this is Werner from Scapago again, and today I want to talk about the power of making mistakes. Here I'm touching on another trauma from high school, because obviously when we were learning languages in school, our teachers told us we have to avoid mistakes, we have to study the grammar diligently so we don't make mistakes. And if we did make mistakes, then that was what brought us bad grades and sleepless nights, etc., etc. So many people have this issue that they always think a lot before they say something in a foreign language, because obviously they want to avoid mistakes, okay? And that, of course, is going to stop them from speaking, because if you're a beginner and you're asking, where is the supermarket, and you have to think for 2 hours and a half how to structure this question correctly, you will never say it. And you will just switch to English or not ask the question at all. And this, again, stops us then, of course, from the necessary training that we need in order to one day speak fluently Norwegian. So because of this experience, there have been all these approaches since the 1970s of saying, okay, let's acquire the language naturally like a kid. Let's not study the grammar at all. In my view, this is a serious mistake, because we're mistaking the symptom for the disease. The problem is not so much that you are afraid of speaking because you have studied the grammar. The problem is that you're afraid of speaking because you don't want to make a mistake. And what you need to understand is, when you're learning a foreign language, you are going to make mistakes. It's absolutely unavoidable. When you're learning Norwegian, you're going to make serious mistakes. You're going to make hilarious mistakes that are going to make native speakers laugh a lot. This is just going to happen. So what you have to work on is this fear, actually. How do you work on it? Well, one way is to imagine the worst thing that can happen. I was working together with an English teacher. He's American, he speaks German very fluently. He used to work for a big German telecommunications company, and he once was in a board meeting and he wanted to compliment the CEO on his tie. And in German, of course. His German is good, it's very good. But he made two tiny mistakes in the sentence he was saying, and actually, instead of saying, I like your tie, he said, I fancy your underwear. And, well, you can imagine what happened. Did it cost his career? No, of course not. It took a split second and the whole boardroom was bursting out in laughter. They're still talking about this 15 years later, right? So if you can bring that amount of joy to native speakers, isn't that a beautiful thing? So I would say mistakes they're quite cool, actually. They're fun. That's just the reality of life. So the challenge I have for you today is, and this is the important thing, and this is where the people who say don't study the grammar, where they are right. They're not right about avoiding the grammar at all cost. What they are right about is that you need to get rid of this attitude that before opening your mouth, you're trying in your head to avoid all mistakes and to produce a perfect sentence, because this is not going to work. What you have to do is you have to speak without thinking. Then maybe afterwards you can think, okay? Especially if you're an advanced student, especially if you're like A2, B1, B2, you should even. Then afterwards, what you have said, you're like, was that correct? Oh no, I forgot, no, it's the wrong gender. Oh, it's the wrong. Okay, but not before you speak. So I would like to challenge you, take your phone, record yourself speaking Norwegian 1 minute about anything without thinking. Okay, make it the most hilarious, the worst mistakes, doesn't matter, but keep talking for 1 minute. Okay, share afterwards in the comments how that went, how that worked. Feel also free, if you have been speaking Norwegian to native speakers and if you have made hilarious mistakes, feel free to share them. I have to admit, I was thinking when preparing this video on what mistakes I have made when learning languages. I have made amazing mistakes, but I cannot remember them at this moment. So unfortunately, I cannot ridicule myself right now. But if that's possible, if I remember something, I will share it in one of the next videos. Okay, I'll I'll see you soon, and have fun with this exercise.